Why do we watch esports? Well, for some it might be wanting to improve in the very game that they play. For others it might be the entertainment, maybe the incredible production or the unreal storylines. But for most of us, it's the competition. There's nothing like watching the absolute pinnacle of skill face off.
Third one.
Alibi inside. Crouched under.
Sorry, bro.
He's on the still.
I'm sorry, bro. Oh my!
And razor sharp margins decide who gets to lift the trophy in front of millions. The displays of inhuman mechanics and mind-bending strategy, they're what keep us glued to our screens, and they make that trophy lift all the more incredible to watch. Within these stacked competitions and the matchups, some stand out from the rest, and some teams in esports find themselves so dominant or unique that they create an era. Everyone knows about players being seen as the GOAT. People like Faker just outperforming anyone, and there's no debate about that. But behind every era of dominance, or every team that houses a mechanical prodigy, there's an individual who probably has more to do with that win than what they're given credit for. When looking to figure out who the greatest esports coach of all time is, a few things need to be considered, and in this video these are the characteristics that I'm going to use to select our list of games. To begin with, the amount of prize money that's been rewarded in its history. Since incentives push for a higher level of competition, having more money up for grabs often leads to some of the most complex and competitive esports scenes. Being a successful coach often matters more when you're making good money for it. How impactful coaching is within the game. Coaching plays a role in every single esport, whether it's a highly paid decorated coach with a team of analysts beside them, or just a high elo player giving some feedback over a Discord screen share. But some coaches have more integral roles within a team, in more ways than what could just be considered an analysis. For example, in a game like Rocket League, coaches are definitely important to the title, but their input is kind of limited by how narrow the tactical play is compared to a title like League of Legends, which includes an economy, build paths, and matchups. In titles like Counter-Strike or Valorant, strategies can go far beyond just positioning and decision making. Like I said, they involve economies, resource management, and deep team play with 5 players with distinctive roles. I mean, look at CS, they literally have documents on their desks of strats to run. Coaches matter so much in all titles, but coaches in some games have their input play a more proactive role within the match. And finally, what I would consider to be cultural significance in the esports scene. It needs to have a significant history, since relatively new esports could have a coach with a 100% win rate, but with very few matches to even be able to lose in. The information I'll be defining success with will be S-tier victories as described by Liquipedia, and don't worry, I will be mentioning majors separately.
With a bag full of cash, and these people red and down.
I'm thumping against the world.
With that motherfucking cheating! Take my word!
He is the king!
December 2015, Siege is released, and it's immediately clear that people are going to take the game very seriously. The game's destructible environment and realistic approach to gunplay resonated with gamers. Gameplay that rewards not only mechanical skill, but strategy, involving some of the most unique mechanics in gaming, allowing for unprecedented creativity in a game grounded in being true to life. Pro League began formally in 2016, and in the 9 years that preceded it, players and coaches have made names for themselves in the scene. With the core roster of Pengu, Fabian and Goga, Shaz led his team, which had strong firepower and even stronger game IQ, with Fabian making the calls. The team managed to go on to win 2 6 invitationals in a row, and winning 6 S-tier tournaments with his team, with minor roster changes and a costume change in the middle. Shaz, alongside his powerhouse of a team, created an era in Siege and revolutionized how the game was played, with a focus on utility, set plays and data-driven tactics. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Their pre-planned routine was often way too strong for their opponents, and they would continue to do them until it stopped working. Being able to find such success with the same roster is a testament to Shaz's ability as a strategist, but also as a leader in the team. Keeping the team close and keeping the synergy alive, which is something that seems hard to come by in esports now with so many transfers so often. Even if this synergy fizzled out by the end, Shaz's character shone through it all. To many, Shaz is the best coach in all of Siege history. Dota 2 is on this list for two reasons: prize money and legacy. I mean, look, the top 22 highest esports earners are Dota 2 players, then Booga, then 17 more Dota players. What makes a good coach? Well, results, especially the invitational wins. AUI 2000 is a great example, having 7 S-tier tournament victories to his name, even being able to say that he won the international, as a coach, because he won it as a player already. But Silent is all that and a little more. Being the only coach to ever win the international twice, he also has 7 S-tier tournament titles to his name, but 2 of these titles are the international, just edging out AUI 2000 as the most decorated Dota 2 coach of all time. While OG may be the team that first comes to mind when referencing Dota 2, Silent coaching Team Spirit to 2 TI titles is a feat that no other coach gets to say that they have completed, even integrating a new mid laner to secure the second title. Not only this though, Corporate Blood Demons would love his dedication to the brand, having the record for coaching the same organization through 5 consecutive TIs, demonstrating his commitment to the game and his team, as well as his adaptability sustaining Spirit's performance throughout multiple metas. Silent has worked hard and made his name known, and to many, he's unquestionably the best coach in Dota 2's history. Overwatch has a storied past, instantly a hit competitively, combining the best elements of MOBAs and shooters, heavily inspired by Team Fortress 2. Overwatch has produced some legendary players itself, as well as some of the biggest faces in streaming. It also has one of the most interesting esports histories, pioneering franchise leagues with American sports style branding.
Blizzard Entertainment is proud to announce the Overwatch League. Our seasoned experience in esports and the best practices of time-honored traditional sports help to define the unique structure of the Overwatch League.
Eventually collapsing and turning into a more familiar open circuit esports scene by the name of OWCS. This uncertainty within the Overwatch League led to plenty of changes in the players who make up the scene, with many Overwatch League pros no longer competing into the OWCS. But there's one man who has led teams to the most success through Overwatch League all the way to present day OWCS. Moon. Off to a lukewarm start, coaching the LA Valiant to just a single win in 2018, being the Stage 4 title matches, he proceeded to turn what might be the most laughed at franchise in all of sporting history into a global powerhouse in Overwatch, creating an era which eventually culminated in them winning the 2021 season. But his winning ways didn't just stop when the Overwatch League did, because he's already gone on to win 2 titles in the Overwatch Champions Series. As since the inception of the OWCS, he's been coaching Crazy Raccoon, which consists of some of the hardest hitters from the Overwatch League. He has gone on to win 2 S-tier titles so far, lifting the trophy for the first year of OWCS. In total, he has won 14 S-tier tournaments, with the next closest being Junkbuck with 8, one being the Overwatch World Cup, which I'm sure Moon is jealous of. Moon is the most successful Overwatch coach, and Overwatch may have had its ups and downs in its esport, but Moon has remained consistent in winning. And given his track record already going into the OWCS, it will probably continue to stay that way. Moon is undoubtedly one of the best coaches in Overwatch's history.
There is no larger esport than League of Legends, the giant of the esports world. No game has managed to produce such legends the same way that League of Legends has. Faker alone has a global impact which is incomparable to whoever would be considered next. From this incredible popularity and tenure in esports, League of Legends competition is one of the, if not the, most optimized and competitive games in existence. When talking about legendary players, nobody compares to Faker, in fame as well as competitive success. But Faker has always been with T1, so if he keeps winning, so does T1, including the man who was part of the coaching staff throughout the 2010s, took a little break and found plenty of success with Damwon Kia, and then came back as the head coach to win another Worlds, Coma. The same way Faker is recognized as the GOAT League of Legends player, Coma is unquestionably the GOAT League of Legends coach, being the leader and mastermind behind the same trophies that Faker himself has lifted. It's no doubt Faker is a mechanical monster, but no one player makes up a 5-man team, and Coma has managed to perfect drafts and strategies through every meta, roster change and competition. Faker and Coma are quite the duo. Though Faker's name may be uttered more than any, it would be foolish to act as though Coma isn't a vital piece in the multi-worlds winning T1. Having won 4 Worlds, 4 other international titles including MSIs, IEM and the Esports World Cup, and 10 regional titles in what most would argue is the most competitive region in the entire world. Most coaches don't get close to even attempting the golden road. Some teams have come so close, but no other team has ever attempted it twice other than T1. Carter was the head coach for both attempts, but Coma was still on the coaching staff. Carter makes a great candidate for the GOAT League of Legends coach as well, being part of the dominant Carter and Coma duo. Carter himself having 12 S-tier trophies including 3 Worlds victories. But Coma's success and impact cannot be understated. The most decorated coach by some margin and the leader of one of the most feared teams through every era of the game. Some incredible coaches have been listed here, maybe even the best coach of all time. But someone just about takes the cake. Can you guess who? Counter-Strike sits comfortably at the top of the esports food chain, with possibly the deepest, richest and most competitive history in esports. Some of the most legendary plays which get referenced all throughout gaming culture have come from the franchise. Taking many forms through 1.6 to CS2, the structure of the game has remained the same despite the title changes. 25 years of, fundamentally, the same game, and yet a constant rising player count and unwavering support for its esports scene. Earlier in this video, we mentioned the concept of an era, and the prime example of one is the Astralis era in Counter-Strike, and one man behind the team themselves led the team through this era of dominance. Zonic. Undoubtedly the best Counter-Strike coach to grace the game. Hanging up his jersey as a player in 2012, Zonic has gone on to become the most decorated coach in Counter-Strike history. With 23 S-tier trophies to his name, he doesn't even have the space for them in his trophy cabinet. 5 of these trophies are major victories, the most of any coach in the game, and tied with Dupree as a player for the most major titles. If you've watched a Counter-Strike Grand Final, you've probably seen his glorious beard standing behind the players. Zonic has found success through every era of Counter-Strike. Zonic has mastered the art of enabling world-class players to work in sync to perfectly round off all the aspects of their game. He's a master of team building and perfectly rides the line of Guardian and Boss. What puts Zonic a step above the rest isn't just how many and for how long he has won titles, but it's his unwavering passion for the esport that is Counter-Strike.
On a serious note, I think it was my love of the game, actually. I've always been this secondary caller when I was playing. Sometimes I tried in-game leading as well, but I always had this love for playing beautiful Counter-Strike the right way, playing the percentages, good utility. I think that's the most beautiful part of the game. I'm not a particular fan of let's say Sabu killing 5 people with a P250, but for me, beautiful Counter-Strike is a high level of team play, flashing for each other, and good Molotovs. I think that's what for me is what Counter-Strike is all about. It's about that team play, and I think it's the right way to be played.
If there is a coach who embodies every great aspect of esports coaching, it's Zonic, and his truly awe-inspiring list of placements is a clear demonstration of this. The future of this list will likely look very, very different within the next few years. You will disagree, but this list is to make you aware of the most decorated coaches and to open up the discussions about the people behind the scenes and recognize that a team is more than just its parts. And also, some of this information is probably wrong. I mean, I'm not perfect, but at the end of the day, what does it really matter? A good coach, or the greatest coach of all time, is made by so many different factors, and just looking at this list maybe gives you an idea of who to keep an eye out for, but doesn't show the full picture. All it does tell us is that we need to always be considering the fact that these people's Liquipedia can look just as good as players, so they need to be discussed when talking about how or why teams achieve the results that they do. Who's the GOAT coach in your opinion? Let me know. Either way, thank you for finding out who's the most decorated coach in all of esports.
À la source, rime sample et flow. Un 995, l'équipe qui te met des chiffres au micro. En 2-0-1, on rentre dans le jeu et les cartes changent de main, donc lève les tiennes. On kick sec aujourd'hui comme demain. On prend le rap à la source, rime sample et flow. Un 995, l'équipe qui te met des chiffres au micro. En 2-0-1, on rentre dans le jeu et les cartes changent de main, donc lève les tiennes. On kick sec aujourd'hui comme demain. Le rap était mieux demain, donc laisse-nous.